Woon Sowol was quickly led to his poison storage area. In front of him was a pile of poison. Dang Moon Jae explained, there was only one bottle here. Every piece of wood contains a poison pill. The toxicity will increase from left to right. Although it is not a fatal poison, after using it, life will be worse than death. Do you dare to try it? Do you want to challenge yourself? After a moment, Dang Moon Jae's face was filled with excitement and laughter. Yes, it's interesting and can challenge up to 7 levels. Level 8 can also withstand it. This kid is good. Woon Sowol, after trying 8 of his poison pills in a row, he was almost unbearable and breathing like a dead dog. After a while, he calmed down a bit and said, his predecessor's poison was really good. The name is not false, although it is very difficult, I can still endure it. Dang Moon Jae's eyebrows furrowed, can he still endure it? Do you know what this level 8 poison means? Woon Sowol with a serious face, please advise. Dang Moon Jae quickly explained, so let's put it simply like this. Level 1 poison pill is to study how strong your poison resistance ability is. Level 4 pill is to study your ability to survive in toxic swamp or not. The 8th level Dan is to study the natural ability to receive Earth Dragon Spring, which is exclusive to the center of the spirit core. It is not easy for people of Mango Village to enter there. Our GWAKMI easily passed level 1 poison pill, then conquered level 4. GWAKMI on the side smiled proudly. Hi, it's just a small thing. Woon Sowol glanced at her in surprise. Wow, so talented? So what level have you finally reached? GWAKMI proudly replied, me? I've reached level 7. Woon Sowol nodded. Oh, that's not bad. GWAKMI heard that he clearly intended to despise me and then coldly snorted. What do you mean by hating you? Dang Moon Jae in front spoke up again. Actually, there is a higher level above level 8. Do you want to continue trying? Woon Sowol smiled, he couldn't even reach the bridge. Dang Moon Jae immediately took out a bottle of medicinal pills. This was a level 9 poison pill. Woon Sowol reached out to receive the poison pill and thought, that's right, now that I'm in the Yongluang period, it seems like I can try true fire. After swallowing this medicinal pill into the body, wouldn't it be okay to use true fire to burn this medicinal pill? But as soon as he swallowed the medicine, his whole body immediately shook. This poison is much stronger than the last time, I'm about to vomit. The spiritual energy in my body is trying to push. I must persevere to get the poison out of my body. I must persevere. I must control this poison with the anti-toxin ability that I have spent a lot of effort building over the years. Woon Sowol, no matter what, was determined to have his mouth clamped shut to prevent the toxins from spitting out. Dang Moon Jae standing in front saw him writhing like that and laughed loudly with interest. But very quickly, Woon Sowol is back to normal. Besides breathing heavily like a dead dog, he is no longer writhing like before. Dang Moon Jae was a bit surprised when he saw that. Was it solved? Woon Sowol replied, I seem to have survived. Dang Moon Jae nodded, yes. Your name is really special, your face has returned to normal. Woon Sowol slowly stood up, so can we continue to challenge the next level? Dang Moon Jae's eyebrows furrowed, this kid is really. Seeing him just standing there blankly, he asked again, if you don't pay attention, can I continue to the next step? This opportunity is really rare. Dang Moon Jae is a bit angry, you rotten boy, outsiders like the latter are so damned. Okay, I will give you the 10th level, I know you always rely on your inner self to resist poison, but this time I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Woon Sowol took the bottle of medicinal pills and opened it to take a look. It looked like the 9th level. Seeing Woon Sowol immediately gave it to him. When I took the medicine pill, my eyes widened. Oh my god. Did you just swallow it like that? Woon Sowol swallowed the medicine and then said it out loud. Sure enough, there was no difference. Oh wait, it seems like. Dang Moon Jae stood silently to the side, closing his eyes in contemplation without speaking. Woon Sowol quickly absorbed the drug and fell unconscious, falling to the ground. A moment later, the two Woon Sowol went to the monarch of 1,000 elixirs So Wanjung. She was startled when she heard what GWAKMI said. Did he test the level 10 potion? GWAKMI smiled and nodded. Well, although he didn't pass in the end, after lying down for a while, He got up on his own without needing an antidote. Time trial. His body inflated like a balloon, but after a while it returned to normal. So Wanjung nodded in approval. An outsider like you was able to overcome level 9 poison without medicine. The solution can also be recovered. This is truly not a simple matter. Gwakmi. What do you mean by bringing him to see me? Could it be that you have seen him? I don't need Oh Guang anymore. Are you planning on getting married to him? Gwakmi blushed and shouted, what are you talking about? Why do Grandpa Dang and Grandma both say that to you like that? It's really so hateful. So Wanjung coldly snorted, don't mention his name with my name. I know. I'll tell you, is it okay for this guy to take the medicine pill? After saying that, she immediately took out a medicine pill and gave it to Woon Sowol. As soon as he received the medicine pill, his eyes immediately looked at Gwakmi. Next, without hesitation, he waved his hand and cast a protective light curtain of spiritual energy to send her flying. What are you doing? Gwakmi ignored him and smiled at So Wanjung. What's wrong? Have you seen it? So Wanjung nodded. Well, I see, you lost the golden pill before and after, but this doesn't prove anything. This yellow spiritual energy protection light screen only appears after using golden elixir, but if you practice deeply with enough spiritual energy and lightning energy, it will also produce the same effect. Gwakmi protested loudly in excitement. It was absolutely not lightning energy. I saw with my own eyes that what he was controlling was fire and cold energy. If he didn't use the golden pill, it would absolutely not be possible for the light screen to protect the spirit to appear. That yellow gas is. Woon Sowol silently pondered in his heart. My needle obviously came from the faceless murderer. Could it be that the faceless murderer's needle has something to do with the Mango village? Star? Seeing Woon Sowol standing there with a thoughtful face, So Wanjung spoke up again. Looking at the person's expression, it seemed like it was really related to the needle. Woon Sowol lowered his head and sighed. This is I can't say anything about my personal matters. So Wanjung nodded. Although his words were a bit crude, they still made sense. Because the materials needed to refine golden pills were too difficult to obtain, plus the process of alchemy is extremely difficult, so the alchemy is extremely rare, so rare that even in Mango village, only the monarch and Gwak Shin, the heirs of the 3 armies, can use it. Everyone else is basically it's impossible to eat this thing. The ingredients used to make needles in poisonous swamps are also very difficult to find. Gwakmi went to Woon Sowol and questioned, tell me the truth, you are not human, grew up in poisonous swamp, right? Or did you find something outside that looked like a pearl? Woon Sowol shook his head, don't talk nonsense, I've never been to poisonous swamp before, this is my first time. Gwakmi coldly snorted. Let's forget about this later. A mysterious person like you should still investigate a little more carefully. So Wanjung spoke up again, talking for so long and still don't know what your name is? I am the monarch of 1,000 elixirs. So Wanjung. Woon Sowol clasped his hands politely and replied, I am Woon Sowol, you can call me that, senior. So Wanjung nodded. Then okay Woon Sowol, young knight, let me ask you have one last question. Woon Sowol nodded, please senior, ask. So Wanjung asked without hesitation, what is your current level of alchemy? I see that your level of alchemy is very high. Did you practice it yourself without anyone's guidance? Woon Sowol nodded, yes, although I can't tell the senior all the details, it can be said that most of the medicinal pills were refined by me myself. So Wanjung nodded, great, you're interested. Interested in living here? There are a lot of spiritual herbs here for you to refine medicinal pills. Woon Sowol silently pondered in her heart. I dare say that my alchemy skills are not inferior to any herbalist, but if I can work for you, maybe I can learn the details of how to refine golden pills. So Wanjung continues to manipulate my mind. We have many types of spiritual herbs collected from outside and grown in Mango village. They can refine many types of medicinal pills. Gwakmi is also like that. Woon Sowol replied, then it's better for juniors to be respectful than obey orders. Gwakmi is on the side with wide eyes, what? So? The scenario is not like this. Master Woon Sowol followed So Wanjung and she shouted loudly, Woon Sowol, young knight, wait, but we still have to wait to see the process of refining acid poison. A few days after GWAKMI came out of Dang Moon Ji's place holding a bottle of poison. I have finally refined it into acid poison. Father will definitely be very happy when he knows. Thinking of this, she quickly ran away to tell her father this good news. But GWAK Yong was not as happy as she thought. On the contrary, he sadly shook his head and sighed. GWAKMI saw his appearance. He couldn't help but feel sad. She stayed at her father's place for a while. Then quietly left. Woon Sowol walked to the side and glanced at her. Is there something wrong? What's not convenient, right? GWAKMI asked suspiciously. How do you know? Woon Sowol laughed. It was written like that on your face. When I saw you carrying acid poison to find the monarch, I already guessed. GWAKMI exclaimed. Have you always been paying attention? Come to me? Woon Sowol helplessly scratched his face and smiled, not knowing what to say. This girl is really too narcissistic. GWAKMI then asked, do you know the effects of acid poison? Woon Sowol shook his head, wondering what effect it had. GWAKMI ordered, you use the light screen to protect your spiritual energy. I will demonstrate it for you. Woon Sowol heard that. You were skeptical. The light screen protected your spiritual energy? GWAKMI did not explain but continued to urge. Wait for you to watch and I will tell you. Woon Sowol smiled and nodded, okay. Woon Sowol just switched to the light screen to protect spiritual energy. GWAKMI immediately poured out poisonous acid. As soon as Woon Sowol's aura protection light screen touched the acid poison, it immediately disappeared. Woon Sowol was terrified when he saw that. The aura protection light screen, the gas has disappeared again. GWAKMI asked excitedly, why is that so surprising, right? Woon Sowol nodded. He didn't expect acid poison to be able to eliminate the protective light screen of aura. GWAKMI explained, that's right, actually this thing can't be called poison, because it doesn't. Is there any danger to the human body? Woon Sowol sat down to look at the remaining toxins on the ground and exclaimed, this thing is really great. If we go to war with Bao Xin sect, it will definitely be able to help. It's a great benefit. GWAKMI is so excited. Is that so? Do you think so too? But why does father keep saying no? Woon Sowol stroked his thoughts. I can understand that your father is worried. After all, your brother is locked up in Bao Xin sect. If there is any way to. Speaking of, Woon Sowol was startled and his eyes widened. GWAKMI saw him just standing there blankly, so he walked over and waved his hand to call. Hey Woon Sowol, why are you suddenly not saying anything? Did you hear me? Woon Sowol regained consciousness and asked. GWAKMI. Mango Village, when deciding on something important, who will participate in the discussion? GWAKMI saw him suddenly ask that and was immediately stunned, not knowing how to answer. After a while, Woon Sowol and GWAKMI went to see GWAK Yong. He was extremely suspicious and asked, say yes. Why did you summon us here? Woon Sowol quickly explained to GWAK Yong and the three heavenly soldiers. Initially I was in Bao Xin sect for a while. At that time I heard that the Order Lang was locked in the headquarters. GWAK Yong lit up. Woke up, it turned out he was locked up in Bao Xin sect's headquarters. No wonder we had no way to find him. Woon Sowol continued. I'll get straight to the point. If you and I go deep, join Bao Xin sect's headquarters, I will help the rescuer to Order Lang. GWAKMI was startled when he heard that. What is this guy trying to do? The three heavenly soldiers glanced at each other and exchanged opinions with their eyes. After a moment, Dang Moon Jae sighed and spoke. GWAKMI. You should still take Woon Sowol young knight back. Don't waste it here, the monarch's time too. Woon Sowol did not give up and continued to explain. I know this suggestion is a bit absurd to you. Anyway, the Bao Xin sect headquarters is not a place where everyone can infiltrate, but now is the best opportunity to do this. In order to find you, they sent many people to Poisonous Swamp to plunder the treasure, despite your reputation. The group is very large, but there are not many powerful soldiers in it. GWAK Yong nodded, continued talking. Woon Sowol continued, because of this action, not only the group but also members of all branches were also dispatched, because they had mobilized many experts to Poisonous Swamp, so the headquarters at this time would definitely be empty. Gwak Yang sighed. We should know how important poisonous swamp is to us. But now you ask me to give up poisonous swamp? You must know that year I gave up Gwak Shin for Mango Village. So this time I will not let the whole Mango Village fall into danger because of that child. This is it. Is the decision of our two-faced monarch. Moreover, now I suspect that you saved Gwakmi in the first place because you wanted to gain our trust. Then took this opportunity to trick us. I left the poisonous swamp and then caught it with a net. Do you think I think that's too much? Woon Sowol nodded. It's not too much. This time I want to enter the Bao Shin sect. There is something I have to do. I want to find the memoirs of a certain monk at the headquarters. Gwak Yang jerked me. Recording memories? Woon Sowol nodded. That's right. Since meeting Gwakmi I have learned a moral from her. That is, if a suspected person like me wants to escape suspicion, I should confront her. Treat others honestly. Because trust needs to be accumulated slowly. I was about to tell you why I didn't initially refuse Xiao Bang, Bao Shin sect's proposal to go to Poisonous Swamp. After listening to Woon Sowol, Gwak Yang exclaimed, "It's truly unbelievable. I didn't expect you to come from another faraway continent." Woon Sowol smiled. I know this is very unbelievable, but everything I said is the truth. So Wanjung asked interestedly, if you have agreed to tell the truth, then I ask you. That yellow spiritual protection light curtain of yours, is it? Because you used knitting needles, right? Woon Sowol didn't hide it anymore and nodded, that's right. So Wanjung smiled and nodded. It seemed like the lost golden elixir had found him. If this happened, then it must be it. There's a reason for it. But Gwakmi said that your cultivation level is in the late An period, but you can use two types of magic, fire and ice. Woon Sowol couldn't help but hear that. Okay, but cold sweat broke out. I actually used a high-level magic to hide my cultivation level. Gwak Yang was startled when he heard that. Woon Sowol continued to point at himself. I explained, actually my current cultivation level is in the early stage of the sun. Gwakmi, who was next to me, was scared when he heard that. Gwak Yang smiled and nodded. That's enough. Come back, let's get to the main point. I want to hear the details of your plan. Woon Sowol knew that the other person trusted him and couldn't help but smile. He quickly told his plan. The plan: my task is to take Bao Shin sect's deputy boss Xiao Bing as a hostage to coerce the Bao Shin sect gang leader. A little while later at Zheng Province Namzhou District Station. An old man was leading a group of people. The prisoner walked towards the teleportation array. This middle-aged man is a handsome warrior of Gozhong Bu. He looked at the old man and said, I have told you many times, senior, every time you come to Weijing you will have to pay a lot of fees. It's better to hand over these sinners to me, then you can save a lot of money. The old man shouted angrily, I don't need it. Gozhong Bu saw him so agitated and sighed in a whisper. He's so stubborn, I won't remind you next time. Unable to advise him, he simply turned around and walked aside, knowing you. Go in. Forget it, don't offend Dr. Duang Quang Ky because of this little thing. If you start trouble with this old man now, I can't beat him. The only person who will suffer will be me. I just didn't expect that the prisoners this old man captured were so profound. Even I couldn't see anything, could it be? A little while later in Weijing Metropolis, Yan'an region, although it is currently night, the streets are still brightly lit with people walking around. Suddenly, an extremely large hurricane blew to destroy this peace. People on the street looked at the direction the wind was blowing. Why did the wind suddenly blow so loudly? While everyone wasn't paying attention, the old man who had just teleported went into an alley to take down his cloak. So it must be safe. The old man soon changed into his appearance. Of Woon Sowol, he asked the people behind him, how is the outside world? The others quickly took off their hats. Well, it's really magical, but the main thing right now is to take advantage of the time to rescue Gwak Shin, the monarch of 1,000 poisons and the monarch of 1,000 demons. What do you guys think? When O Guang and Dang Moon Jae heard that, they immediately replied, you're right, we don't have time to delay. We should still quickly start taking action. Gwak Yang glanced O Guang, thought to himself, the monarch of 1,000 demons, I can understand your current mood. After all, Gwak Shin is also your close friend for many years. It would be easy for you to quickly save him. Understand. Next he asked Woon Sowol, how far is Woon Sowol young knight here from Bao Shin sect's waging cell? Woon Sowol pointed behind him and replied, it's right in front of him. That tower is the Bao Shin sect cell in waging, although there is no one nearby, but if chaos occurs it will be very troublesome. Dang Moon Jae looked at the tower in front of him and nodded, then it's simple enough, just secretly control them. It's just a pity that this time I'm afraid I won't be able to witness the monarch of 1,000 demons displaying the power of the golden-toothed locust's army. Oh Guan let it go replied, it's okay I still have other demon beasts. Woon Sowol came forward to speak. If that's the case then let's take action. The three of them nodded in unison without saying anything. The four people then quickly and quietly entered Bao Shin sect. Not long after they entered, they were sensed by the formation here. Xiao Bing was sitting in the room meditating until the candle behind her was immediately blown out. She was startled when she woke up from her practice, someone had rushed in. She quickly and quietly walked out of the room. After a moment of feeling, she quickly left. Secretly attacking is definitely a problem. Now the experts in the gang have all gone to Poisonous Swamp. These guys took advantage of this opportunity. Barging in here must have some intention. There is no other way but you can only hide in the formation or leave here. Leaving instead of hiding in the formation. It is better to leave here, you have to take advantage of the time. Time before being discovered by them. A moment later in the central courtyard of Bao Shin sect. Xiao Bing hid behind a tree in the middle of the courtyard and poked his head out, looking out in deep thought. If I ran out outside, she can only depend on the Yaman's patrol. Thinking for a moment, she was about to step out and leave. At this moment, a pitiful scream rang out in her ear. Right away. Immediately, an old man was beaten unconscious in the yard. Xiao Bing saw this and immediately withdrew his foot in horror. Seeing the person who had just taken action, she was even more frightened. It was Woon Sowol. Shouldn't he be in Poisonous Swamp right now? Why did it appear here? Could it be that he wants to? Leaving now is not the time to think about these things. I have to think of a way to leave here first. As long as I can get over the opposite wall, I'll be safe. Woon Sowol slowly walked in the yard towards the opposite direction. Xiao Bing's room went completely without noticing her, who was currently hiding behind a tree in the yard. Xiao Bing nervously stood still in place, waiting for Woon Sowol to go away. Then he took the opportunity to rush in, quickly flew out and wanted to run out. But at that moment Gwak Yang landed from the air to stop her. Xiao Bing saw him and was secretly scared. He was a descendant of Mango village. Gwak Yang looked at her and smiled. You guys were looking for us so hard I came here to visit you myself. Xiao Bing gritted his teeth and took out something from inside. Next, no hesitatingly threw it at him, immediately turned around and Gwak Yang was covered in smoke. Xiao Bing took this opportunity to fly up and continue to flee. I'm not an opponent. He must quickly escape. As long as he gets there, he will be safe. But life is not as he dreamed. At this moment there are several golden threads behind him. Flew over. Xiao Bing didn't have time to react, so he was caught by the golden thread and pulled back. Very quickly she was pulled down to lie on the ground. Her face was extremely tense and she turned around. Looked at the crowd behind him. Woon Sowol took the lead and walked over smiling. Long time no see Vice President Xiao Bing. Xiao Bing was so angry that he trembled and gritted his teeth and said, Woon Sowol, what are you trying to do? Woon Sowol laughed, you look very tired so please rest a bit, have a nice dream, Vice Master. After a while the entire Bao Shin sect fell silent again. All the guards and servants have been captured and tied together with Xiao Bing. Woon Sowol reassured the crowd. You can rest assured that there is a debtor with a master. The person we need is Xiao Bing. Xiao Bing is the deputy master now. Can we talk now? Xiao Bing sat up and smiled coldly. Woon Sowol young master, I didn't expect you to be able to make the task I assigned you to be this beautiful. I feel a little proud of you. Woon Sowol smiled and didn't answer. Xiao Bing continued, just what I want is not the descendants of Mango village but the treasure in their hands. Woon Sowol is a little doubtful, what treasure is that? Made her so fascinated? Xiao Bing laughed extremely excitedly. That is the treasure that all the wizards pray for and it is difficult to get, So I want to give young master Woon Sowol a chance to change his ways." Woon Sowol shook his head. "Thank you, but there's no need. What we're doing now is the right thing." Xiao Bing smiled. "Is that so? Then it's really a bit of a pity. If you want to attack me again, I can not only hand over the memoirs to you, but will also compensate you with an extremely valuable treasure." Woon Sowol is still extremely steadfast. "I don't need you to worry about my business. Xiao Bing has not given up and continues to seduce. That is an ancient treasure." When Woon Sowol heard that, he was secretly startled in his heart. An ancient treasure? Could it be something as super effective as the frost pill? Thinking for a moment, he still did not agree. It was something that belonged to them. Xiao Bing smiled back. "Rare treasures should belong to people with the ability. This is natural. So Bao Xin sect is the most suitable place to own this treasure. After all, we are much better than the descendants of Mango village, and know how to use that treasure better." Woon Sowol sighed. "There really is no cure. This is just the thinking of an ordinary doctor." Xiao Bing asked again, "Aren't you curious? Don't you want to know the true value of that treasure?" Dang Moon Jae on the side shouted with a gloomy face, "You better know enough. If you dare to speak nonsense again, I will use poison to destroy your internal organs, making your life worse than death." When Xiao Bing heard that, he became angry and coldly turned his head to glare at him. At this moment Gwak Yang spoke again. "The monarch of 1,000 poisons, I feel like I can let her continue. I'm very curious about how much this woman knows." "Okay, keep talking." Xiao Bing quickly explained, "As far as I know, the treasure that Mango village holds is a mask. Rumor has it that this is a treasure passed down from ancient times, and is also considered a special treasure. The person wearing the mask can read the thoughts of the previous mask owner, also is the thought of ancient magicians. It will let you know about things in ancient times. Moreover, descendants wearing masks can quickly accumulate spiritual energy. Many people are young, but because of with the mask, they have very high cultivation. Precisely because they grasp the Qigong techniques recorded in the mask. This is also the reason why their pupils turn blue and their hair turns blue. Purple." Gwak Yang sighed. "That's right, the world calls it divine powers of Yuanzi. In addition, Mango village's people are very good at taming demonic beasts. Of course this is also knowledge from within. That mask passed on." Xiao Bing glanced at Oh Guang. "This young magician must have a positive cultivation base, right? Maybe someone who could be that strong had received knowledge related to alchemy recorded in the mask?" Oh Guang's face darkened. A hidden murderous aura radiated from his body. Gwak Yang waved his hand and smiled. "Okay, let her continue." Xiao Bing continued, "Also, I heard it was poisonous of Mango village is also extremely difficult to solve. It makes others unable to prevent it. I think this is also a poison made from the ingredients of poisonous swamp combined with the knowledge inside the mask." Dang Moon Jae interrupted, "You are wrong about this. Our poison has absolutely nothing to do with the mask. Our method of making poison is accumulated through many experiments." Xiao Bing smiled. "Haha, is that so? Then I'm rude. Woon Sowol sir, the mask I mentioned is the treasure of wisdom in the world. Can you imagine how much value can be created using that mask? So there's still time for you to regret it now." Woon Sowol stared at her silently but still didn't speak. Xiao Bing continued to manipulate her mind. "As long as you agree to help us, I can promise to give you a suitable status. The treasure received can also be given to you apart. Plus all the memories records that young master has always wanted to read. Don't forget that what you need is currently at this place." Sect. Woon Sowol couldn't help but burst out laughing. As expected, the vice master is still the same. "That's right. I really need to write down memories. So I can only ask you to take us on a trip to the headquarters by Bao Xin sect." When Xiao Bing heard that, his eyes widened in horror. "What did you say?" Woon Sowol laughed coldly. "Am I not speaking clearly enough? Next, you should do what we say or I will kill you." Xiao Bing heard that and suddenly realized something. Waiting to say that, "They still can't kill you for the time being." Thinking of this, the corner of her mouth couldn't help but curl up, then frantically shouted provocatively, "Okay, you guys should kill me now." Woon Sowol and the others saw her attitude. His face was full of confusion. Xiao Bing continued to laugh provocatively. "I want to see what you guys can do to me. I heard that Mango village is famous for using poison. So next you guys, are you planning on using poison to torture me? Dang Moon Jae laughed loudly. Haha, this woman didn't expect to be so straightforward and have fun. Xiao Bing still kept his smiling attitude. Come here and poison me. At worst you'll lose your life, haha. Baek Ran, who was tied to one side, suddenly spoke up. That's Mr. Woon Sowol. Woon Sowol walked up to her suspiciously. What's wrong with Miss Baek? Baek Ran thought for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, You saved my life, so to repay the favor of saving your life, I agree to use evil spray fragrance with Vice Master Xiao Bing. Hearing that, Xiao Bing's smiling appearance immediately disappeared, replaced by an unbelievable horror. She angrily turned her head towards Baek Ran and shouted, Baek Ran, you despicable woman. You. The old lady gave you food, gave you shelter, and taught you to become a noble warrior, yet you dare to side with outsiders and betray me. Woon Sowol stroked his chin and said, If Miss Baek, if you do so, you will become Bao Xin sect's enemy. I feel that this is not something a young lady like you can undertake, or let us think of another way. Baek Ran firmly shook her head. There is no need. A woman who is trained to practice evil spray fragrance at the headquarters has only one outcome, which is to become a tool of the Bao Xin sect, and will eventually become a companion. Was given to the designated healer. Gwak Yang spoke up. If that's the case, then I can help this lady. If things go well based on her merits, I can accept her back. Became a member of Mango village. Woon Sowol heard that and slowly exhaled. It seemed like all the problems had been resolved. Xiao Bing's face turned pale and his body couldn't help but tremble. No, I can't just sit here and wait to die. I absolutely cannot give in. Woon Sowol walked forward and laughed. She laughed extremely sinisterly. So good, I missed my chance last time. This time, hey, we can finally witness the power of evil spray fragrance with our own eyes. The next day at Pingchuan City Beijing District. This is where the Bao Xin sect headquarters is located. Outside the city yet there's a carriage stopped waiting for inspection. The guards on the side are skeptical or exclaim, This is the first time I've seen the deputy master of Weijing ride that carriage. Woon Sowol is driving the carriage. This is the carriage that the vice master just bought not long ago. Of course you have never seen it before. I have never seen the vice master travel by carriage before, but here it is. It's the windmill carriage pulled by the red heavenly winged. The vice master is not moved by that. Okay, can we go inside? The other person came to observe the red heavenly winged carriages pulling the carriage and nodded in approval. This carriage is truly extraordinary. If so, according to the regulations, we need to check the carriage warehouse. Woon Sowol hearing that, his eyebrows furrowed. The other person put his hand in his storage bag to look for something, and almost forgot that you also needed to be checked. He quickly took out a mirror and handed it to him. Came in front of Woon Sowol. Woon Sowol did not avoid looking straight into the mirror and thought, this is probably a magic weapon that can detect liquid magic. It seems to have the same material as the glass in Xiao's room. Bang! After a moment, the young man took back the magic weapon and nodded. No problem, next confirm the carriage and you can enter. He then quickly left. Came to check on the carriage. At this moment, Baek Ran came down from the carriage. Please stop, the vice master has been troubled by many things recently, so please don't be too intrusive. When the young man saw her, his face immediately turned red and was extremely passionate. Are you here too, Miss Baek Ran? Baek Ran lowered his head and begged. Please let us pass just this once because this is an extremely important matter. The young man scratched his head. Well, if you say so. Thinking for a moment, he gave up on the idea of getting in the car to check, and instead went over and opened the window. Please forgive me, Vice President. Xiao Bing, who was sitting inside, suddenly widened his eyes, staring at him. The young man was startled when he saw her appearance. She looked exactly like the gang leader. Was she his daughter? I can't do too much to make her angry. After a while, he regained consciousness and exclaimed nervously, Vice Leader, my subordinates must confirm your identity. After speaking, he raised the mirror and looked directly at Xiao Bing's face. Not finding any problem, he left. The subordinates have already confirmed. If there is any rudeness, please don't blame me, everyone. Please leave. Passed. Without any hesitation, Woon Sowol quickly drove in. They went inside for a moment and felt that there was absolutely no problem. Then Woon Sowol began to close his eyes to stimulate his spiritual energy. Surrounding censors. Although there are dozens of wizards here, there is only one magician. With our strength, it is probably enough to deal with this group. Checking everything is complete. You all just knocked on the car door. Okay, now it's safe, you guys can go out. Xiao Bing had evil spray fragrance cast from beginning to end, sitting still in the same place in a daze. Oh Guang's group quickly crawled out from underneath the hole in the wood she was sitting on. Luckily we were able to get past the men guarding outside without being detected. Dang Moon-jae glanced at Gwak Yang asked, "Do you feel any discomfort?" Gwak Yang shook his head, "Not everything is normal." Seeing Dang Moon-jae keep staring at him and smiling, Oh Guang couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Dang Moon-jae then spoke sarcastically. "I didn't expect that a monarch of 1,000 demons would curl up in a wooden barrel. This is truly a rare thing." Although Oh Guang was angry, he still calmly replied, "This is not because of a mission." Next, he smiled sarcastically back, "That's right, I didn't expect you old man to care about Gwak Shin like that." Dang Moon-jae shouted angrily, "This old man didn't bother to cry. If it weren't for your love for your blue eyes and purple hair, I would have dealt with you a long time ago." Oh Guang sighed, "I didn't say you were crying. It's your own fault." After a moment, Oh Guang became serious. Seriously said again, "This old man." Dang Moon-jae saw him suddenly being so serious and became suspicious. "What's wrong?" Oh Guang's face darkened. "After we save Gwak Shin, we will cleanse this place with blood. What do you think?" Gwak Yang heard that and shook his head and sighed. It seemed like the two of them were still holding back their anger. Gwak Shin hoped you were safe. Baek Ran went to report, "We were almost there." Gwak Yang glanced at her and nodded. "This time I really have to thank you." Gwak Shin, "Wait a little longer and we'll come rescue you right here. You must try to wait a little longer, okay?" The group of people quickly reached the second guard post. The soldier on guard saw the carriage coming and was startled. He quickly went out to stop them. "Please stop. Woon Sowol sit in the car," he said calmly. "If there is something wrong with the vice owner, please let him know." The other person was surprised to hear that. "Is the vice owner?" Xiao Bing came out from the carriage and replied, "That's right. Wasn't a prisoner captured a few days ago? I want to find him and ask him something." The soldier shook his head. "This person is under extremely strict supervision. There is an order from above that no one is allowed to see him," Xiao Bing said harshly, "Not even me." "Okay?" Just when that soldier was in trouble, an old man came out from behind. It turned out to be the deputy young master. "I didn't hear that he was coming by. What's going on this time?" Xiao Bing said. "Mr. Qian next? I recently found some clues related to their whereabouts, so I need to find him to confirm this information." The old man suddenly woke up. "If that's the case, then it wouldn't be right for someone to go see him." "Impossible. It's just that I think it's really difficult for people to get information from him," Xiao Bing calmly replied. "You don't need to worry about this matter." The old man looked serious. Vice Master Xiao Bing, such a smart person. Why did he deliberately not understand what the old man meant? Xiao Bing's eyebrows furrowed. "What do you mean?" The old man calmly replied, "No matter what Gwak Shin used now, it wouldn't work. His body had already been tormented to the point of nothing." Oh Guang and others inside the car heard that. Extremely angry. The other two people could still control themselves, but Dang Moon-jae could not. As soon as he heard it, he immediately stood up and wanted to leave to dry blood. Oh Guang saw him so excited and immediately stood up to stop. "Calm down." Dang Moon-jae gritted his teeth and replied, "What are you holding back? How can we endure it?" Gwak Yang shouted with a serious face, "Calmly follow the plan. We need to hold back a little longer." Outside, Xiao Bing is still continuing to want to meet Gwak Shin. "I'm far from waging. I can't return here for free like that. No matter what his condition is, I want to see it with my own eyes." The old man sighed. "Okay, you're really stubborn, let me guide Xiao." Vice Master Bing. Before leaving, Xiao Bing did not forget to turn his head towards Woon Sowol's instructions. "You come in here with me." Woon Sowol smiled and nodded. "Okay." He raised his head and looked into the distance, thinking, we've finally come to this step. Please bear with it a little longer, Gwak Shin." The two of them were quickly led into the prison by the old man. Un Sowol walked and observed the surroundings while silently exclaiming, "The headquarters prison was indeed very terrifying." It was true that hearing it was not as good as seeing it. The group of people breaking through the prison finally reached the center. The guard told them to stop and wait while he went forward to open the door. After opening the door, they Continue walking up the stairs. After walking for a while, they finally reached the place where Gwak Shin was locked up. Xiao Bing nodded. "Okay, you wait outside." The two of them quickly pushed the door open. Walked in. Inside there was absolutely no light at all. The surrounding was covered in pitch black. Un Sowol quickly lit up a flame. He looked at the young man lying on the ground and said, "I came from Mango Village to save you." But no matter how much you called, Gwak Shin still didn't move at all. Un Sowol went and sat down in front of him and continued. Asked, "Can you stand up?" Gwak Shin was still motionless. Un Sowol sighed silently. His body was full of wounds. His left hand only had his thumb and index finger left. The shape of the wound mouth was very unusual, probably not using a sharp weapon to cut into it. What kind of torment did he have to go through? Perhaps to prevent him from losing consciousness while being tortured, he cut off his finger himself. First, help him treat the wound. He put his hand inside his shirt to find it. I quickly took out a box of medicinal pills. This is the Jade Lo Chin Tam pill. This medicinal pill is extremely effective for people with huge mental wounds. Last time after giving it to Yi Chunso uses it, I always carry it with me. Today it just happened to be effective. It's best to give him Elixir of Purity and Mountain White Sect's 9 magic pills. There was nothing left on his body that was perfect and he had suffered enough. After dealing with his injuries for a moment, Un Sowol quickly carried him up. Then he nodded towards Xiao Bing, "Okay." Then, Xiao Bing immediately loudly ordered his subordinates outside, since the bodyguards outside have finished handling it, quickly open the door. The soldiers waiting outside heard this and felt extremely uncomfortable. He really doesn't care about himself. Even though he was very bitter, there was no way he still had to quickly go to open the door. As soon as he opened the door, 3 long swords immediately flew inside. Went through his body. Un Sowol did not let his body fall to the ground causing a commotion but immediately used the binding seal to pull him back. Then gently placed the body on the ground, mute. "Please lie down obediently." The two of you quickly followed the stairs down. Half of the success was already achieved. You only need to get on the carriage to declare success. Before success, you definitely cannot ignore it. The two of them quickly walked out of the prison center. As soon as they got outside, a voice immediately rang out in their ears. Deputy Master Xiao Bing has something he doesn't understand. Still hoping for you. But half of what he said, he fell silent, unable to believe his eyes. Seeing Un Sowol carrying Gwak Shin out, he immediately shouted in excitement. "Xiao Bing, are you really a brave tiger? Do you rely on yourself to have the support of the gang leader to do this kind of reckless action? Immediately release Gwak Shin or I will report this matter to the gang leader." Un Sowol smiled. This junior also has something unknown. How effective is this tower's soundproofing? The old man was startled when he heard that. What do you mean by that? Suddenly he felt something and turned his head to look back. As soon as he turned back, he saw O Guang standing not far away, urging the golden-toothed locusts to attack. That was someone from the Valley of Secrets. O Guang quickly jumped down to join the battle. The soldiers below called out a light screen to protect the aura to stop the locusts. O Guang immediately saw this. Took out acid poison. Then without any hesitation threw it at them. As soon as acid poison collided with the light protecting the aura of the crowd, it immediately corroded everything. The golden-toothed locusts were gone. Having to be blocked again, the maniac attacked. Un Sowol took advantage of this chaotic situation and quickly ran out. Before leaving, don't forget to say to O Guang, "The tower thanks you." O Guang nodded, "Don't worry." Outside the prison door, Baek Ran was standing there waiting. Un Sowol, "Master, come quickly over here." The two Gwak Yang outside saw Un Sowol carrying Gwak Shin out and were shocked. Scared, how could it be so tragic? Un Sowol gave Gwak Shin to him. "Luckily I succeeded in the job you entrusted me with. The situation inside the tower will be handled very quickly, so we must quickly prepare to depart." Gwak Yang sighed. Okay. His body was filled with murderous aura and slowly brought his son back to the carriage. Gwak Shin was then placed inside the carriage. He then continued calling towards Baek Ran. "Miss Baek Ran." Gwak Shin asked her. After speaking, he turned around and walked out. Baek Ran looked at his back and nodded firmly. "Lord Monarch, please rest assured." After a while, Oh Guang also ran out from inside the prison. "Everything has been resolved." Woon Sowol nodded. "Okay, then let's go quickly." The following people then quickly flew away using the clouds. "Just go past that place and you'll be safe." Dang Moon-jae smiled while flying. "This is so easy. Knowing this early, maybe we should have directly attacking is correct, haha." Oh Guang exhaled. Fortunately, there were only a few knights who looked like him. Otherwise it wouldn't have been so easy. Woon Sowol reminded, "We'd better leave here before the general group of healers came." At this moment, a sound rang out in their ears. Woon Sowol heard this sound and was so scared that he couldn't believe it. In front of them, there was no I know when a blue-haired woman appeared who looked quite similar to Xiao Bing. She looked at the crowd and smiled. "Hey, I didn't hear that there was a visitor today, right? Let's chat. How about a little bit? Let me introduce myself a bit. I am the leader of Bao Xin sect, Xiao Zillion. I didn't expect that a descendant of the Valley of Secrets would get himself into the net like this. This really makes me feel very uncomfortable." Unexpectedly, Woon Sowol's face was extremely frightened. She was a doctor of Dean Vu Ky. Xiao Zillion raised his hand and flicked it. The carriage window immediately opened automatically. Xiao Bing inside quickly flew to her side. She watched her sigh. Xiao Bing is truly a loser, yet he was controlled by the small evil spirit fragrance. She then immediately gave her a palm. Xiao Bing woke up and was surprised to see the person in front of him. "Mother." Xiao Zillion frowned and said harshly, "Mother?" Xiao Bing bowed in fear and changed the way he addressed himself. "Boss, I brought the 3 descendants of the Valley of Secrets to the headquarters." Xiao Zillion snorted coldly. "Why? It should be said that you were tied up and led away by them. After I finished dealing with them, they would slowly deal with you and leave for me." Woon Sowol below, the thoughts in his mind quickly turned. "I can't control Xiao Bing anymore. What should I do now? Is there any other way?" Gwak Yang also spoke in a low voice at this time. "I am the leader of Mango Village Two-Faced Monarch Gwak Yang. You gang accidentally tied up the dog, so I came here especially today bring it back. If you know how to do it, don't hinder it." Xiao Zillion smiled. "Is that place called Mango Village now? If you want me to let you go, it's fine. I have a suggestion for you to consider. Let your son and my daughter Xiao Bing become husband and wife. After we become husband and wife, as a family, Mango Village will be protected by me. How do you see this?" Gwak Yang sighed. "It's so hard to do." Xiao Zillion stroked his chin. "Oh, that's such a shame. Lord Two-Faced Monarch, if you're two-faced, then your other face has maybe a mask? How about that? Hand over your mask, then I can keep you from dying." Gwak Yang coldly snorted. "Do you think it's possible?" Xiao Zillion sighed. "Oh, so what? Since we can't negotiate, then I'll just have to do it myself." Having finished speaking, he immediately used a tactical attack towards Gwak Yang. The spiritual energy that she cultivated was of the ice element. The spiritual energy turned into countless small hidden ice weapons rushing towards Gwak Yang. Oh Guang behind him shouted worriedly, "Be careful, Lord Monarch." Gwak Yang gritted his teeth and put his hand into his chest to search for something. Then immediately threw out a smoke ball that obscured Xiao Zillion's sight. She didn't even look and waved her hand. "Don't struggle in vain. It's no use anymore, no matter what you do. A late-stage positive light period like you can't win against the vanity period, that's me." The dust dispersed and she cried out in surprise. "Are you wearing a mask? That's exactly what I meant. Looks like this mask won't be able to escape today." Having finished speaking, he once again used his magic to attack. Gwak Yang did not dodge despite her attack. "I hit my body." Woon Sowol was scared when he saw that. Lord Monarch quickly avoided. But besides the data, Xiao Zillion's attack did not cause any damage to Gwak Yang. He smiled contemptuously at her. Haha. Relying on these bandages, do you want to keep us? It's really ridiculous, I will burn people to ashes. Woon Sowol has some doubts in his heart. It feels like Lord Monarch has become a different person. It seems to have become a bit arbitrary. Moreover, these two people look very calm. This scene is probably a common sight. Gwak Yang quickly condensed the fire in front of his mouth, with him as the center. Spiritual energy was continuously sucked from all directions. Again. Woon Sowol was scared and dangerous. If he got caught up he would definitely die. Very quickly a powerful explosion broke out in midair. Woon Sowol flew to Dang's side. Moon Jae shouted loudly. Now is a good opportunity. If we attack together we can definitely defeat her. Dang. Moon Jae shook his head. No need, this state of the monarch is enough. Woon Sowol saw him so confident, his face filled with confusion. Dang. Moon Jae explained. The hellfire mask that the monarch is wearing is an extremely rare treasure. It can let people using it to double your strength. The disadvantage is also very obvious, that is, the longer you wear it, the more damage your body will do. If the monarch wears a mask. If this fight lasts for a long time, Lord Monarch will be more or less good and bad. Moreover, look at that woman. Her demeanor is very gentle and easy to deal with everything, even the treasure. There's no need to use it, this is enough to prove her strength. After Xiao Zillion blocked Gwak Yang's attack, she laughed mockingly. You're exaggerating a bit. Gwak hearing that, Yang is confused. What do you mean? Xiao Zillion explained. The magic you used was useless. Let me tell you frankly that you have no way to exert the power of that mask. Your body is gradually stiffening right now. If you keep going like this, you won't be able to last much longer. Gwak Yang shouted angrily, shut up. Do you need to use all your strength to deal with people like you? Just now it was just warming up the body. Girl, the warming process should stop now. Now the real battle begins. Xiao Zillion saw the opponent taking the initiative to attack again. When she arrived, she snorted coldly. Then she raised her hand to block Gwak Yang's fire. She then took out an ice pearl. Okay, I won't play with you anymore so it's over. Said after that, he rushed towards Gwak Yang. Although Gwak Yang's fire was extremely terrifying, it could not touch her body. Very quickly she attacked him in front of him. If you're the leader, try blocking this move. Oh Guang's group behind saw this and got worried. Monarch, be careful. Another earth-shattering explosion erupted. Woon Sowol, I'm also extremely worried. Will the monarch be okay? The dust dispersed, revealing the unharmed figure of Gwak Yang standing in the light curtain protecting his spiritual energy. Haha, are these tricks still trying to defeat me? Xiao Zillion laughed extremely cunningly. Oh, like that? Woon Sowol below noticed something and his eyes narrowed. Seeing that the light curtain protecting Gwak Yang's spiritual energy was slowly being frozen, he shouted loudly, Lord, be careful. The cold air as quickly froze his protective light curtain. Gwak Yang heard Woon Sowol's reminder and then looked down in surprise. Woon Sowol did not hesitate anymore and quickly jumped up. Just like that, the monarch will be frozen. If the monarch is captured, the Valley of Secrets will really be dead. I myself will have a hard time escaping from here. I must stop her. Dang. Moon Jae sees Woon Sowol. If you want to rush up, you will be scared and shout loudly. Woon Sowol, young knight, don't go there, it's dangerous. Woon Sowol gritted his teeth and quickly rushed up. There's no time to think about these things anymore. I must think how to resolve the current situation. Regardless of whether it works or not, just do it first and then think about it. If it's this, it will definitely work. He took out the frost flower then pointed it straight at Gwak Yang's side. As soon as frost flower came out, he felt the cold air immediately bloom, countless snowflakes and cold air spread out. Would the people present be frightened when they saw this scene? Oh well, the ice-cold blizzard filled with cold air was sucked away. Woon Sowol secretly breathed in his heart. It really worked, there was no more cold air, the ice wind was covering the outside of the curtain. The protective aura light is about to disappear. Xiao Zillion saw this situation and his eyebrows furrowed. Next, he waved his hand and hit Woon Sowol. Where did that brat come from and dare to hinder me? Woon Sowol was immediately knocked back by her cold air. Dang Moon-jae and Oh Guang quickly ran to block him, blocking the cold air for him. Oh Guang shouted loudly, "You go help the monarch, come here and give it to us." Woon Sowol immediately turned around and flew away, "Thank you both." Woon Sowol flew over to give the frost flower to Gwak Yang. "The monarch, sir, I leave this to you. It will definitely be useful in battle." Gwak Yang received the ice flower and exclaimed, "It's frost flower. You actually have this kind of treasure. This thing can really help me. I will remember the efforts you put in today." Xiao Zillion on the other side laughed and mocked, "What a bunch of trash with no self-control. Do you think you can stop me with just a few tricks? I will take your lives from you." After speaking, she raised her head to the sky and screamed loudly. The spiritual energy around her body immediately erupted in an extremely powerful way. Oh Guang's group was nearby. The cold air made it impossible to hold on. Even Baek Ran, who was in the carriage a long way away, was in pain and kept screaming. Gwak Yang quickly took frost flower with him. "Rush up, you rotten girl, stop for me. Next time it will be up to me to deal with you." As he rushed towards him, he condensed the flames and started to counterattack. The flames filled the sky and immediately caught him. I shot out to burn away Xiao Zillion's cold ice. Seeing the opponent's power, Xiao Zillion's face could not help but wrinkle. Another earth-shattering electric explosion was released. Waiting for the dust to clear, Xiao Zillion's figure was revealed. Her face was now extremely gloomy, and wounds had begun to appear on her face. She slowly raised her hand to wipe away the wound. The blood on his face still hasn't made any further moves. Gwak Yang on the other side smiled coldly. "Do you still not see the situation clearly? This is the ancient treasure frost flower. It can absorb all kinds of cold air in the world. It is your natural treasure. While there is still a chance, I advise you to continue. Should be obedient and let us leave." Xiao Zillion silently pondered in his heart. It's really as he said, although he is unwilling, this item is really my nemesis. Is it going to be successful? I didn't expect that something like this would happen. If I continued fighting, I would definitely suffer losses. I didn't expect that a small ice crystal could make me so uncomfortable. Thinking for a moment, she then smiled and sighed. "Okay, I'll let you guys leave. After all, in a short time it won't be possible to determine victory or defeat." Gwak Yang laughed loudly. "Haha, are you still speechless? Leave the game, this battle is too boring. If you have a chance to continue fighting in the future, you should prepare a little more." Xiao Zillion sneered contemptuously. "Do you still dare to show that proud face again? Without that ice crystal, you're just a piece of trash." Gwak Yang turned around and left, thinking whatever you want. Xiao Bing walked up to Xiao Zillion and asked, "Boss, how could you let them leave like that? Now I'll go summon a master right away." Xiao Zillion shouted angrily, "Shut up, anyway they can't come out of poisonous swamp. Just a bunch of fish in a bowl, nothing worth considering. But that damn brat. This gang leader will definitely personally capture you alive, making your life worse than death." The two of them then quickly turned around and left. Both sides agreeing not to fight, I retreated. Woon Sowol sat in the windmill carriage and asked Gwak Yang, "Is the monarch okay?" Gwak Yang quickly took off the mask. His face was now filled with sweat. As soon as he took off the mask, he exhaled weakly and almost fell down. Woon Sowol quickly caught him. Asked him, "I still have some healing pills on me so I can get them for you." Gwak Yang shook his head. "No need, after using the Hellfire Mask it is best to maintain a powerless state. No matter what kind of power you have, you need to pay the corresponding price. After wearing the Hellfire Mask, our consciousness will merge with the consciousness of the ancient wizard. This makes us feel very helpless. So the person wearing the mask needs to have a personality different from the consciousness in the mask, because only then can they observe their own changes after using the mask. If you don't, your consciousness will naturally be swallowed by the mask. I chose Gwak Shin as my successor not only because of his talent, but also because of his personality, so I made this decision." "That's right, the frost flower you gave me was because of the consciousness in the mask, so I knew how to use it. This time, thanks to you, I was able to escape danger, and even successfully saved Gwak Shin. Come back, I really thank you very much." Woon Sowol smiled. "It's no big deal, Without the help of the monarch and the seniors, this time wouldn't have gone as smoothly. You guys, the next day, the group of people finally escaped Bao Xin sect's area and smoothly returned to the Valley of Secrets. Gwak Shin's wound also began to improve under Baek Ran's attentive care. After many difficulties, their family was finally reunited. From then on, the Valley of Secrets no longer needs to hide from the Bao Xin sect. But this does not mean that everything has been resolved. First of all, I still don't have a record of memories. But my conflict with Bao Xin sect is now difficult to reconcile. Anyway, as long as they still exist, the threat will still hang above my head. Thinking for a moment, Woon Sowol turned around and wanted to go out. Gwakmi saw this suspiciously and asked, "Young brother Woon Sowol, where do you want to go?" Woon Sowol smiled, "I want to go see someone, I'll be back soon, don't worry." Gwak Yong patted his daughter's head and smiled, "Let him go. It's dark here." Yi family's manor. Mok Yom was standing next to the window watching the moon. She looked at the rice flowers in the yard and exclaimed, "The flowers bloomed so beautifully." After a while she turned around to go to sleep when her ear rang. Woon Sowol's voice sounded again, "Sister." Hearing this voice, she immediately turned her head in surprise. Woon Sowol sat by the window smiling. "Long time no see, you're still progressing as fast as ever." When Mok Yom ran over excitedly, "It's only natural that you've always practiced diligently, during this time I've missed you doing that. Have you finally gotten out of poisonous swamp?" Woon Sowol shook his head, "No, I'm just going out for a temporary trip, I still need to come back." Mok Yom asked worriedly, "Where do you want to go again?" Woon Sowol sighed, "I'm afraid I can't tell you about this." Mok Yom shouted loudly in excitement, "Why? Why don't you tell me? Do you know how much I worry about you? Do you think anything about me?" Woon Sowol raised his hand to caress her head. "Sorry, I know you are very wronged, but I only did so because I wanted to protect you." Mok Yom wanted to say something, but Woon Sowol quickly interrupted. "Sister waits, after this matter is resolved I will definitely go find you, I swear." Mok Yom has tears flowing from the corner of his eyes. "If I dare to break my promise you will definitely punish me." "I know." Woon Sowol suddenly went to hug her. "Sister, do you still not know what I mean to you?" Mok Yom was also excited and hugged him tightly. Woon Sowol must come back alive. Woon Sowol smiled. Rest assured, Mok Yom must also protect himself well. After announcing peace to Mok Yom, Woon Sowol immediately returned to Poisonous Swamp. Gwak Shin walked next to Woon Sowol and asked, "Today you finally decided to go to the Jade Dragon's Parabolos in the Land of the Dragon?" "Ah?" Woon Sowol nodded. "Yes, I have to do well to prepare to declare war with Bao Xin sect. Also, it's time to reveal the secret of this ring. Everyone can rest assured, I will soon return." Gwak Shin clasped his hands. "Okay. I hope Gwakmi and the other descendants of the Valley of Secrets won't be too sad after hearing this news. Woon Sowol, I wish you good luck." Woon Sowol smiled and took care. Then he flew away. In his heart he silently thought, "I don't have much time left, I still have a lot of unfinished business. First things first, revenge for the masters who raised him, and the only clue right now is recording the memories inside the Bao Xin sect. We still have to find the elders of the Mountain White sect. There's also Mok's senior sister Yom and everyone. No matter what, I have to come back alive. Because I am the warrior of the Millennium."